Hello, I'm your Salim Abraham and you're watching InfoFeed. Today, we examine the curious case of the 47th President of the United States, a man who claims to loathe the smell of gunpowder, yet whose second term has turned the world into a live fire range. Let's start with the narrative that sold a presidency. Throughout 2024, Donald Trump didn't just campaign. He performed a masterclass in isolationist theater. He called himself the Peacemaker. He mocked the war hawks. He promised to end the Ukraine-Russia conflict in 24 hours, as if geopolitics were a simple real estate closing. His supporters heard a promise of return of troops, return of focus, return to a quiet America. But as we stand here in March 2026, the quiet is gone. In its place is the roar of Operation Epic Fury. 2 weeks ago, the world held its breath. The United States, in a stunningly violent partnership with Israel, didn't just pressure Iran. It sought to end the regime as we know it. Trump called it a necessary exercise of American strength. The Pentagon calls it a strategic degradation. But let's call it, what's it? Total war with a surgical mask. Over 3,000 strikes in 7 days. The reported death of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. A global oil supply paralyzed, as the Strait of Hormuz becomes a ghost town of stalled tankers. Trump tells us the war is very complete, pretty much. He speaks from his golf club in Doral, telling reporters that Iran has nothing left. But even as he speaks, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is digging in. A new leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has risen. The 24-hour victory has turned into a 2-week quagmire with no exit ramp in sight. Then, look south. On January 3, 2026, the world saw something out of a Hollywood thriller. Operation Absolute Resolve. Trump didn't send diplomats to Caracas. He sent an apprehension force. They bombed the air defenses, breached the palace, and literally bagged Nicolas Maduro and his wife. Within days, Maduro was in a New York courtroom facing narco-terrorism charges. Trump calls this law enforcement with military support. He says he's avoiding forever wars by simply removing the problem. But look at the fine print. Billions of dollars in oil deals followed immediately. The administration is not just fighting cartels, it's exercising the Trump corollary, a new doctrine where American interests are enforced by the tip of a spear, while the president insists he's just doing a deal for the Venezuelan people. So, how do we reconcile the man who says, I want wars less than anybody, with the man who has authorized more strikes in 12 months than most presidents do in 4 years? The answer is transactional warfare. For Donald Trump, war is a dirty word reserved for the failures of his predecessors, long, expensive work, occupations where American soldiers build schools in Kabul. His version? No nation building, blow it up, but don't stay to fix it. Link every missile to a trade deal. The crazy deterrent. Act so unpredictably that your enemies surrender before the first B-2 bomber leaves the tarmac. The cost of this peace is mounting. Oil prices are surging. Global markets are in tailspin, and even his own MAGA base is beginning to splinter. One half cheers the tough guy who takes out the mullahs, the other half wonders why American sons and daughters are dying in the Persian Gulf for a conflict they were told was over. As of today, March 17, 2026, Trump is demanding a Hormuz coalition. He wants Europe and Asia to pay for the protection of their own oil, even as he threatens to take over the strait himself. Donald Trump has perfected the art of the kinetic deal. He's not ending wars. He's rebranding them as high-stakes corporate takeovers. He says he wants wars less than almost anybody, but he seems to enjoy the wins more than almost everyone.
I don't want wars. I want wars less than almost anybody. Peace through strength. But you know what? I've watched Iran for a long time. I've called them out 20 years ago when I was a civilian that liked watching the world. And they're violent, vicious people. The leadership, violent, vicious people. They killed 32,000 protesters over the last 3 weeks.
The question is not whether he wants war. The question is, when the fire he started spreads to the rest of the house, will his deal still be worth the price? Facts inform, but stories transform.